Okay, this is just a quick video on aggregate planning, and particularly the differences between a chase and a level aggregate plan. Okay, let's say we've got a pencil factory, okay, and let's say our pencil factory has an inventory at the beginning of period 1, let's say week 1, of 100 pencils. Okay, so I'm going to put a beginning inventory. Actually, let's say this is planned inventory. We're planning here all these things. So we're planning to have an inventory at the beginning of week 1 of our planning period of 100 pencils. Okay, and let's say we've got a forecast that says that we're going to sell 70 pencils. All right, and we've got a production plan that says that we're going to make 70 pencils. Okay, so now what's our ending inventory? This is not a trick question. Okay, we began the week with, we're planning on beginning the week with 100 pencils. We're planning on making 70 and selling 70. So our ending inventory, or planned ending inventory, is 100 pencils. All right. That was week 1. We're planning for week 1. Now we're planning another week out. Let's say, no, it's not important. Okay, so we're going to have a planned beginning inventory of 100, right? Because that's what we ended the previous week with. Let's say our forecast says we're going to sell 40, so we're going to plan to sell 40, and we're also going to plan to make 40. Okay, so now what's our ending inventory? Our ending inventory is 100. Okay, and let's say we've got one more week. Let's say again, we're going to plan on selling 60. All right, and we're also going to plan on making 60. So the forecast is 60, planned production of 60, so we're going to plan to have an ending inventory of 100. Okay, this isn't so tough, is it? All right, so let's graph that out and kind of see what that looks like. We graph it out. Always want to label our axes anytime we make a graph. So this is time. This is quantity. All right, we've got week 1, week 2, week 3. All right, and let's graph out our production, scratch that, and our inventory. Doesn't really matter whether we use beginning or ending inventory, but let's use ending inventory. All right, so our production the first week is 70. Let's say that's there. Okay, the second week it's 40. Let's say that's there, and then it's 60. Last week, right about there. All right, so that looks about like that. What's our inventory? 100 the first week, 100 the second week, 100 the third week. Link those together just to make it a little bit more readable. Again, this is inventory, production. Okay, so what kind of schedule is that? Is that a chase schedule or is that a level schedule? Well, remember, chase means we chase demand. We produce what we think is going to be demanded, and that's what we're doing here, right? Think we're going to sell 70, we're going to plan to make 70 in the first week. Second week, we think we're going to sell 40, we're going to plan to make 40. All right? And you can see in the graph here, production goes up and down, right? It's different every period, every week, and inventory is constant. Okay. All right, let's look at another situation. This is going to be, as you might have guessed, a level schedule. Okay, so let's kind of do the same thing. Again, we're planning here, so we're planning period 1, and let's say we're going to plan on going into the planning period with 100 units in inventory, just like before. Okay, and we've got a forecast. It says we're going to sell 70. All right, let's say we just make 50. We plan to make 50. All right, that's That's our planned production. So now what's our ending inventory? All right. Well, we started with 100. We sold 70, right? So if we didn't make anything, that would get us down to 30. But we made 50, so now we're going to actually wind up with an ending inventory of 80. Okay. Now the next week, let's our beginning inventory is 80, right? That same inventory level that we're carrying over from the previous week. Let's say this week we are planning on selling 30. All right. Again, we're going to make 50. All right. So we didn't make anything. We'd be down to 50 units, right? But we're going to make another 50 units. So we're going to end with 100, right? That's just 80 minus 30 plus 50 is 100. All right. Let's do another week here. Okay. So we're going to begin the week with 100, same amount we ended the previous week with. Let's say this period, our forecast says we're going to sell 60, all right, but we're still going to plan to make 50, right? So now what's our ending inventory? Well, our ending inventory is 90, right? We take 100, we subtract 60, that gives us 40, but we're going to make 50, so we're going to plan to end with 90, okay? So what happens if we graph that out? And we've got time, quantity, period 1, period 2, period 3, okay? And like we did before, let's start out graphing the production. So that's going to be 50 the first week, 50 the second week, and 50 the third week, right? All right. Now, what about our inventory? Let's graph that. All right, that's 80 the first week. This is not completely to scale. All right, then 100, and then 90 the third week. Okay, so that's our inventory. And, you can see the difference here pretty clearly between the two, right? Here in this one we've just been working on, which is production is level, right? And because we're selling a different amount every period, inventory is going up and down. Some periods we're building it up, some periods we're drawing it down, right? Because production is level, like I said before, we call this a level schedule, all right? So one's got a straight line for production, and one's got a straight line for inventory. Now, the company may not decide to do it either one of these two ways, right? And you might say that neither one of these is super realistic, and in a lot of industries that these aren't super realistic, especially the level schedule. It's kind of hard to level schedule infinitely. In that case, you might not produce exactly what the market makes or what the market demands every period, but you're going to come somewhat close to it, right? In that case, inventory production is going to vary a little bit every period, assuming demand varies some. And inventory is going to vary. And this is the really key thing here. If both these lines, if the inventory line and the production line vary, then we've got a hybrid schedule or a hybrid aggregate plan, okay? This isn't super scientific here, but, and if it looks something like that, if one of these is production and one's inventory, anytime one of those isn't straight, we have a hybrid schedule, okay? If one of those is straight, we're either going to have a chase schedule or a level schedule. If they're both curly, not straight, wiggly, you pick the term, it's a hybrid schedule.